Episode 12, Give Me Back My Son. When Natalie woke up, she was no longer at the engagement party, and she was surrounded by snow-white walls. She had apparently been taken to a hospital. She still had a splitting headache, as if someone was pounding her head with a hammer. Liam. She felt a little weak, but she did not expect her voice to turn hoarse the moment she spoke. She began to cough violently. Tom was standing at the side of her bed. Seeing that she had woken up, he didn't pay any attention to her words. Instead, he said, "What's your relationship with Bryce?" At that moment, Natalie felt nothing in her heart but disgust. She could almost smell his desperation, and it made her headache worse. In no mood to answer his question, she forced herself to sit up in bed. "Liam, hurry up and come in here," she called. "Stop shouting. He's not here." Tom frowned and said impatiently, "I asked Cheryl to take him for food." "You haven't answered my question. What is your relationship with Bryce?" Natalie refused to believe that he had good intentions. What's more, she couldn't imagine what kind of harsh treatment Liam would be subjected to if he stayed with Cheryl. "What does it have to do with you?" Her face darkened as she glared at him. "I think I've made myself clear. You go your way and I'll go mine. In the future, I'll leave you alone." "All right, let's go our separate ways." Tom smiled coldly and nodded. "You can go. The farther, the better." Natalie lifted her hand and pushed away the quilting covering her body, barely able to support herself as she stood up. "I will. I'm leaving with Liam. Don't worry, we won't bother you again." "Liam is a Davidson, so naturally he will be brought up here. Do you really think someone like you could raise him?" Tom's words stabbed at her like needles, so sharp and painful that she couldn't even scream. When he first saw Liam, he had called him a bastard. But now that he thought the boy's father was the illustrious Bryce Clare, he had changed his tune. "You can say whatever you want." She clenched her hands, her voice growing louder. "I don't want anything. Just Liam." After going through so much, there was almost nothing left inside her. No one cared about her, or whether her life was good or bad. Spending 5 years abroad had made her mature a lot, but she had also woken up. During that painful and unforgettable period, Liam had been at her side. Through spring, summer, autumn, and winter, through many days and nights. His importance to her was not something her father or any of the others could understand. "I will give him back to you." Tom raised his eyebrows and sized her up, speaking slowly. "I've heard that the Clare family is looking for a business partner. If you can persuade Bryce to partner with us, I will return your child to you." He spoke lightly, but his intention was clear. How many people were fighting for this opportunity? Something like this was easier said than done. "Don't worry, I won't hurt the child, but you should use your time wisely." With that, Tom walked away, leaving Natalie alone in the ward. She was so cold that she felt like she was standing in a cave of ice. Thinking about whatever her father said made her head spin, as she had only met Bryce by accident, and asking him for help wouldn't come easy. After realizing that it was Liam, her only support system, whom she loved more than anything, she decided to seek help from Bryce. But where would she find him now? He was very powerful, so just getting close to him would be extremely difficult, not to mention that she would have to negotiate with him. But despite her worries, she did not hesitate. She couldn't wait a day longer. She had to get out of the hospital as soon as possible and do what needed to be done to get her child out of her father's clutches. She checked online and found quite a few news articles about Bryce. They said that he was a young talent, of the sort only seen once a century. But she didn't care about any of this. She quickly found his company's address on the website and went through her discharge procedures before rushing out of the hospital. When Natalie arrived at the Clare group, it was already afternoon. She sighed with emotion as she looked at the tall building in front of her. In the spacious, empty lobby, the tiles were so clean that you could see your reflection in them. "Hello." She took 2 steps toward the reception desk and said quickly, "I want to see Bryce Clare." The receptionist didn't even look up. She just answered in a cold, expressionless voice, "Do you have an appointment?" An appointment? How could she have an appointment? She didn't even know the man's cell. The girl at the front desk seemed to have read her thoughts. She didn't wait for a reply before she continued, "Sorry, I can't let you in without an appointment." How could she leave now? She was too weak even to stand properly. So she went outside and squatted down in front of the building. It was the height of summer, and the sun almost made her faint. But despite how sick her body was, she gritted her teeth and endured it silently. She waited a full 3 hours, and only when it was close to evening did she finally see Bryce. He was too busy talking on his cell phone to notice her. He got into his car and prepared to leave. Natalie quickly got up and chased after him. She wanted to tell him to stop, but when she opened her mouth, she found that her throat was dry and hoarse. As the car passed her, heading off down the road, she rushed out in front of it and blocked its path. In the back seat, Bryce finally noticed what was happening, and his expression changed completely.
Full story is available at novelpalace.com. Click the link in the comment section to get it free.